Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the video where I'm going to show you how I make cheeseburger bombs. And basically it's just crescent dough rolled cheeseburgers, and they're just a different way to have them, and it makes it for a different meal. And we're going to just show you how we make hamburger bombs. So let's get to the kitchen. All right, so this is how I make cheeseburger bombs. Basically, it's just cheeseburgers instead of in a roll or on a sub or just on a plate. We're going to have them in a convenient little pocket. So I guess you could call it like a cheeseburger hot pocket, but it's not really. We prefer not to call them a hot pocket just because it's not the same. Um, I've already got my peppers and onions already chopped up here. Got some sour cream, have some cheese, and this is what I have available in my fridge right now. I could have had some cheddar, but I have the Mexican style and hamburger. So we're going to start by frying up the veg, and we'll show you that in the next clip. I just wanted to show you exactly what I'm putting in these suckers. And it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. All right, so we got our skillet. And we're going to put our peppers and onions in here. I'm not going to use this whole bag. I kind of prep up what I might need for the next couple of recipes all at once. So we're going to probably use half of this bag. And so this right here was really one large pepper and one half of a very large, very, very large onion that my sister had grown. The pepper came from the grocery store, so I don't mean to say that she grew the pepper as well, but the onion itself was huge, so I only needed half of one. But one, small bell pepper and one small onion for, like, I use 1.5 pounds or so of hamburger for this. So I try to fill it up with as many vegetables as I can, as far as like being able to put into the meat mixture so that the flavor gets in there. And yeah, so this is basically how it starts off. And you're just gonna, soften up the peppers and onions just so that they're just translucent. You want the onions to be just translucent, and you want the peppers to start getting soft. And then you're going to start frying your hamburger, because you want them to be, like I said, you want them to still have a little bit of a bite to it when you put the hamburger in. So you're going to let these fry up a little bit. We're going to use some spices. I'm going to do the spices right now. I'm going to use garlic powder, just to get it fragrant. Now, if I had some chopped garlic, I'd probably put that in as well, but I don't have any chopped garlic right now. I'm going to be putting some onion powder in. Just a little bit of that. And this is just going to flavor the meat and the veg as it's cooking here. I put in a little bit of paprika, just a smidge of paprika to give it a little bit of a good color. And then we'll hit it with some salt and pepper. I'm using my Dollar Tree Pantry stuff from my Dollar Tree Pantry video. A little bit of pepper and salt. The salt. Still working on a different thing of salt here. I'm going to grab it out of the cupboard. It's in a different cupboard. Whoop. There's my chili packet. Didn't want to be forgotten. Just a little bit of salt in there. And mind you, we're going to be using 1.5 pounds of hamburger. So what you see going in here for spices really isn't all that much, considering what I'm going to be putting in here. I'll turn my heat down a smidge here. Okay. Like I said, we're just gonna, mix them around just enough to get them a little bit soft, because they will cook again. They'll soak up some of the hamburger stuff here, and then they'll also end up baking a little bit more in the oven when we get them on the crust. And I'll show you that in just a little bit, because as soon as this comes together, this has to, like, I let it set and cool for just a little bit because I need to be able to work with it. So I'm going to be breaking up the hamburger as I put it in here because I need it to be in small bits, and I don't like the choppy, and I don't have one of those fancy schmancy hamburger choppers like everybody else does. People say they can get them at the Dollar Tree, but I've been checking for like 6 months, and I still have not yet found a hamburger chopper at the Dollar Tree, or any of the Dollar Trees that I've gone to. Not that I've gone to a billion of them. I think I've been to four different ones. There's 4 different ones that are semi-local, not really local, but closest Dollar Tree to me is about 25 minutes away. And then there's only one in the opposite direction. The rest of them are all in the same direction. So I've hit the ones that are in the area that I have traveled. Like I said, there's only 4 around me. That right there was about a pound of hamburger, and now I'm going to break into my brand new package. That was like some leftover that I have in the fridge that I was going to be using up. And now I'm going to hit it with this package of burger I have here. Add just a little bit more to it. And I'm making excess meat too, because I'm only going to be making enough bombs for one meal, because the crust, it doesn't save well, if that makes, it's crescent roll, so it's not like I can make a bunch up in advance and save them and have them taste the same. So I should wash my hand before I go and do that. Wash my thing here too. Yes, if you were concerned about the onion with whatever scare has been going on lately, I did not use an onion from the store. I used my sister's onion, so that's why I'm getting away with this. Now there's all kinds of crispy numminess on this pan bottom, so we're going to make sure we get that up. That all adds flavor. And this isn't very fatty meat. This is 81.19. This hamburger is. So ground beef, whatever you want to call it, Hamburg. I've always called it Hamburg. If I do it on the app, they want me to search ground beef, because if you search hamburger, there's all kinds of stuff that comes up that's not the fresh ground beef. So, and I will strain this, by the way, so just so you know. But alright, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch until this whole thing gets cooked. You get the idea of it. I'm not adding anything specifically special to this part right now until it gets all cooked and drained and cooled some. So we will come back when all that is going on. Well, I realized I wasn't recording, and I already put in my I put in about 1/3 of a cup of sour cream, and I realized I had not hit the record button. So this is my hamburger mixture right now. And so basically it is cooled off. It's got a little bit of cheese in it. I put a little bit of that shredded cheese inside, so I forgot that step 2 to show you that. But there's about a 1/2 cup of the shredded cheese in here, and then now I'm stirring up the mix with the sour cream. And this is what's going to go inside the crust. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. before I continue on. All right, now that I've got it all mixed up, I just wanted to show you really quickly what it looks like. Basically, you're going to have this mixture that is all your peppers, onions, some cheese, and your meat. Basically, that is the stuffing for these cheeseburger bombs. All right, so I've got my crescent roll dough unrolled here onto parchment paper, wax paper, for lack of a better way of saying it. And there's always a spot that's going to be kind of thinner than the rest and thicker than the rest. So I kind of even that off, take off the thick, real thick part, and then use that as patch for that real thin part that ended up happening when I unrolled it. And now I'm going to be able to get 6 hand pies or cheeseburger bombs out of this. So we're just going to go 1, and that wasn't a very even cut, but just use my pizza cutter and cut 6 out. And now I have that little bit of scrap up there in case I need it. And basically that's how I make the 6 squares that end up turning into the cheeseburger bombs. And I will set down my camera now to be able to show you how I do that. All right, so I think I got this angled enough so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I got my pan here, and I've got it up on this here because I used the burner, so it's still kind of hot. So I've got my hot plate, and I don't want the pan to heat up a whole lot before I get these on there. My oven is on. It is on for 375 because that's the package directions for cooking the biscuits here, the croissants. And I'm just going to take a spoonful of my mix, and I'm going to use the middle ones first because those ones are the biggest ones. So I'm just going to put a couple of scoops into the middle of this here. And then I'll show you, I pull up the corners and I meet the corners together. I kind of pinch them like that. And then I pinch them together along the seams there to kind of seal them up. And then I bring these corners up to meet that corner in the middle, like where I had initially put them together, to turn and make it a circle like that. Now, I smash it down a little bit, but I don't want to press it too hard right now because I don't want it to really stick so much to my paper. And then I'll just keep doing it. I'll do this second one here, and you get the idea. Again, I'm just kind of making these little packets. I just pull it up, and then I squeeze in the edges, sort of like the dumpling makers do their dumplings. And see how now I've got to seal that up, push that stuff in, put it up there, boom, 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 there. And you see how the little pocket kind of gets made, okay? And that is then going to end up being the bottom, because we want to have a thicker crust on the bottom part, because that's going to be the part that's going to be cooking on the pan. And the stuff on the top browns a lot faster, but the pan also radiates heat up, so we want to make sure that we have a nice crust on the bottom. My oven is ready to rock and roll. All right, so I'm going to just do the other ones. You saw how I did this, and then I will put them on the pan. I'll come back and show you when I've got my last one all made and getting ready to put it on the pan. All right, so this is what it looks like when I've got them on the pan, and now I'm going to just kind of press them down on my greased pan a little bit to spread them out so that they will bake more evenly. So you see that I'm pushing them down just a slight bit to kind of make them more of a hamburger patty-esque. I do have some left over. I could probably get 2 more, but because there's not enough dough to make 8 and have them be substantial enough to feed the folks here, I just made a little bit extra, and I'll just put that in the freezer. And the next time I make this, with whatever's left over, I will add to that stuff as I thaw it out, and probably open up 2 packages and just make smaller ones, and then use up the rest of that there with whatever's left over from the next time that I make this. So now remember, we've got peppers, onions, cheese, burger, and sour cream inside of these packets, and now they're going to cook. And because the meat's already cooked, you're just really cooking the crust. And the crust only takes between 8 and 15 minutes, depending on the look of the brownness that you prefer on your crusts. We like a nice golden crust, like a croissant. So basically, that's where we're going to get it to. So probably right around 8 to 10 minutes, I'll start checking it to make sure it's to our desired doneness. But I will check it just before that and add cheese on the top of these. So I'm going to come back, and there will be more cheese. I will add cheese to the tops of these and stick it back in just enough to melt it. But I will come back when they are about done, and I'm ready to add the cheese. Just showing you what these suckers look like as they're getting close to where I would start thinking about putting the cheese on the top. They're not quite there yet, but they're getting there. And you can see that the start of the golden brown color on this one here. All right, I'm going to close my oven, and we'll come back when they are needing cheese. Can you hear the sizzle? Anyway, this is what they look like. Trying to get a few different angles of them, but this is what they look like as I'm pulling them out to be able to put the cheese on the top. So now I'm going to just set you down here so you can see me cheese it up. Cheese it up, straight eat it up. I know I'm stealing that from something else, quote unquote, but you know, whatevs. So we're just going to put some cheese on the top here and put them back in the oven while they continue to brown up. And I did increase the oven now to 400 so that the cheese could melt, and so that the browning could happen a little bit, you know, a little bit more evenly, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. I think it's just because I have my pan isn't high enough on the rack to be able to facilitate these getting brown on the top as quickly as they would probably be browning on the bottom. Let's see, this one needs a little bit more. I try to get it like around the top so that it's kind of covered. We want it to look like a cheeseburger almost, because the way that my family does it, they just basically put it on the plate, then they stack all of their stuff that they want on top of it, sort of like an open-faced sandwich. They create, you know, a condiment dressing, and then they decorate with their lettuce, tomato, pickles, onions, whatever they're going to do. But now these are going to go back in the oven, wait for them to finish cooking the crust and melting on the cheese, and then they will be ready to serve. All right, so as you can see, they're nice and golden brown. We've got the cheese all melted, and basically that is how we make cheeseburger bombs. I hope you enjoy watching this video. If you do, like and subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications, and come back as you watch RevBTB does it.